Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's lesson. Let's go over our lesson objective. So our lesson objective for today we will solve one-step word problems using an equation. All right. Now, before we get into our problem for today, let's go over what is an equation, right? So an equation is a Sorry, guys. So an equation is a mathematical statement that says two things are equal to each other. So over here, we have 2 plus 2 equals 4. So what an equation is telling us that on both sides of our equal sign, they need to be the same. So 2 plus 2 is 4, and that needs to be the same as 4. And that's true, right? So 2 plus 2 is 4, which is the same as 4. So our equation is telling us both things on the equal on each side of our equal sign, they need to be the same. Okay, now that we figure out what an equation is, let's go into our word problem. But before we do that, let's go over what is a UPS check, right? So this is something that we use to help us with word problems because it helps us really understand what we need to do. So a UPS check stands for understand. That's our U. So we need to first look at our word problem and understand what is it asking, what do we know. So that is our U. Then we have our P, which is our plan part. After we understand what our problem is asking us, what information we know, we need to make a plan as to how we're going to solve. Once we've understood the problem and once we've made a plan, then we can go ahead and solve our word problem, right? So only after we make a plan is it best for us to solve. So then we solve our word problem. And then anytime we're solving word problems or doing any math, it's really important to check our answer because, we're all human and sometimes we make mistakes and we want to make sure that the answer that we are giving is answering the question that we need to answer. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get into our word problem for today. So our word problem for today is asking, and I'm actually going to go ahead and X my face out. So our word problem for today says the total amount of rain that fell in Beaumont, Texas in 2 years was 282 centimeters. In the first year, 185 centimeters of rain fell. How many centimeters of rain fell in the second year? So let's go over our U, our understand part. So we're going to do this by using our wick and wink. So what I know and what I need to know. So for wick, what do I know? I know that that the total rain in Beaumont, Texas was 282 centimeters in 2 years, right? So that's over there in that portion. Then I also know in the first year, I had 185 centimeters of rain in the first year. Okay, that's the information that I know from my problem. Now let's go into our wink, what I need to know. So what I need to know is how many centimeters of rain fell in the second year, right? So that is what our question is. That is what I need to solve. So before we go about solving this problem, let's make a plan as to what we need to do. So I know I'm going to draw a strip diagram to help us kind of visualize this a little bit better. So I know in 2 years, I had 282 centimeters of rainfall, right? And then I know in the first year, I had 185 centimeters, right? Okay. But in the second year, I am not really sure. I don't know how much rain fell. So that is what I need to figure out. Now, how do I figure out how much rain fell in the second year? So I know that I have 282 centimeters in the 2 years, but I have 185 centimeters in the first year. So if I take away the amount of rain that fell in the first year from the total amount, that will give me what's left over, which will be the amount of rain in year 2. So I am going to take away, which means I am going to subtract. I need to subtract to figure this problem out. Okay, now that we figured out a plan, let's go ahead and solve. So what I'm going to do is I am going to solve this problem right here. Okay, so I'm going to take away 185 from 282. So I have 282 centimeters in both years, right? And I'm going to go ahead and take away 185 centimeters to figure out how much is in the second year. right? So I'm going to go ahead and subtract. That is how I'm going to solve. So I am going to go ahead and subtract, and I'm going to rewrite this so that we can line up our place values. So I have 282. I'm going to take away 185 centimeters. And I'm going to solve this using the standard algorithm method. So I'm going to start in my ones place to subtract with the standard algorithm method. So I'm going to have 2. I'm going to take away 5. I don't have enough, so I need to exchange. I need to go to my tens and exchange 10 tens for, or 1 10 for 10 ones. So I have 8 tens. I'm going to take away 1 10. That's going to leave me with 7. And I'm going to change that 1 10 into 10 ones, which is going to give me 12 ones. So 12 take away 7, or take away 5 is 7. Okay, now that we figured out our ones, let's go on to our tens. So I have 7 tens. I'm going to take away 8 tens. I don't have enough. So I have to go to my hundreds and take away 100. That's going to leave me with 100. And I'm going to exchange that 100 for 10 tens, which is going to give me 17 tens. So I have 17 tens. I need to take away 8, which is going to leave me with 9 tens. Okay. Now let's go to my hundreds place. So now my hundreds, I have 100. I need to take away 1 more 100, which is going with no more hundreds. So I have 97 is my answer. That is my difference. Okay, so that is how many centimeters of rain fell in the second year. So I'm going to put that right here. 97 centimeters fell in second year. Okay, now that I have that, before I say that's my answer, let's go ahead and check my answer to make sure it's true. So what I do know is that I could subtract. I can also, to solve, I also know that if I take 185 plus this question mark, that is going to leave me with 282. Now, from our math, we can assume that we said that 97 is year 2, right? So I know that if I take 185 plus 97, that should equal 282 if I did my math right. So let's go ahead and solve and just make sure that that is correct. So let's check our answer. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up again. I'm going to take 185. I'm going to line up my ones with my ones, which is going to be 7, and then line up my tens with my tens, which is 9. I'm going to use my standard algorithm method of addition to check my work. So I have 5 plus 7, which is 12. So I'm going to put down 2. I'm going to carry the 1. Then I have to add 1 10 plus 8 tens plus 9 tens, which is going to be 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 9 is 18. So I'm going to go ahead and put down 8 tens, carry the 1. And so I have 1 plus 1 is 2. So then my total is 282, which means that my answer is correct, right? So we answered correctly. So we had 97 centimeters of rain fall in the second year. That is my answer. Sorry, I know there's a lot of writing over here, but hope we could all follow along. Okay, great. So I hope that was helpful. Let's go ahead and go over our lesson objective for today. So our lesson objective for today was that today we solved one-step word problems using an equation. All right, fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you all next time. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.